humans,
Mm-hmm.
empowering humans, get you to a loop where you're not just validating, you're also executing.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another episode of Commerce Untold. My guest today spent 20 years making award winning visual effects, then pointed that same tech at retail shelves. Amit, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm great. It's a bit morning here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do in the morning, have a virtual coffee, right? And talk life and business.
I'm with you.
Okay, great, Amit. So, you're the founder of WeR AR, right? An augmented reality company. But before we dive
Yes.
into exactly what you do and how you help retailers, is there any personal story or some unknown facts to the rest of your, let's say, colleagues that you are willing to share with us?
Yes, I think
Mhm.
something interesting to say about me is that I'm very hard ADHD person. Started my life as someone that tried to accomplish, school and be successful in that, and really could not do anything, and was really bad in it. But once I found something that I really love, really like, something that is really my passion, I could not stop doing it, and that's really what brought me into um, I would say amazing awards like MTV Music Awards, Cannes Lions, things like that. That drove me into putting those, things on the shelf that makes you're fine, you're okay. It doesn't mean that you're stupid, And I think that's something that no, most people think like, oh, look at this guy is like successful, did this, did that, but it's really not like that. It's all about getting something that really getting you passionate about and making you grow from there. I would say another thing would be being that person. I would say I could not work anywhere. It's like wherever I started or try even to think of working, it was just a dead end because I could not do what other people tell me to do. It's the same problem, the same way as school, the same way in everywhere. So I would say first once I started doing what I liked, then I wanted to grow that into something even bigger. And to do that, it's a lot of failures. It's like years of failures, years of holding a family and trying to get something stable, and then falling again, and you need to know how to get up from those falls. And I would say that's a lot connect to the skater that I am, right? So I still hold the skateboard in my car because even if I'm not using it so much, I still need to know that it's there because
It's
that's where I'm
there.
coming from. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think falling every time and getting up and falling again and getting up, those 2 points are really important to where I am today, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. So you were drawn to entrepreneurship by necessity, actually. You
Yeah.
found
There's no
peace,
other
right?
way.
Being an entrepreneur, which is a sentence that I
Yes.
never thought I could say, right? So it's just a
There is no
crazy
other way.
journey, right? But I guess this is the right place for you, right? The most native place for you to be, I guess.
Yeah, I see my friends working in Google, working in Apple. They're making much more money than me for sure, but I could not stand even one day in those places.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super interesting, really interesting, and thank you so much for sharing that. So, Amit, you came from a VFX and visual effects background, right? And then what made you decide to walk away from media and entertainment and point that focus and knowledge towards tech and retail shelves specifically?
Cool. So, starting in Israel as a small studio, I would say boutique studio, more than anything else, I had to fight over the big companies about simple jobs. In Israel, it was pretty hard. So I moved to the US, where the middle market is much bigger in size, so you have more
Hmm.
opportunities there. From there, I had the privilege, I would say, to work with companies like Walmart and Coke and other retail brands, and saw and always thought about what is the next creative thing we can do um, to differentiate that brand in this marketing campaigns. And one of them was augmented reality in 2000, I would say 18. That's where it's like started leaking into our phones. And I saw the opportunity in augmented reality. And for us as a VFX company, that most of what we do is tracking footages and reconstructing, environments, and then put 3D on top of it and changing it. That makes a lot of sense doing it in real time. So that was kind of the first ignition of what we did. And then an opportunity that came from the sky, mainly because people that I work with that I admire, bringing those opportunities in. I met the CEO of Walmart, and I was showing him a demo in AR, and that was kind of what led things to go into where we are today, because we saw the opportunity of bringing brands into the stores. And if you think about it today, the shelves haven't changed for 100 years. It's the same thing, with those products on the shelf, some promotional items, but really bringing that to life, connecting the internet into the physical world. That's how we saw it back then. It was an essential move that I just envisioned and had to execute.
I also did probably the same journey. I spent like 2 decades in media and entertainment. The last decade I'm in
Really?
retail and e-commerce, right? So really interesting. What are
What part
the
of the, if I
yeah,
can
sorry?
ask, what part of the media entertainment?
Yeah, I mean, I started when the world transitioned from analog video to digital video, right? Over satellite and cable networks, right? Video compression technologies,
Yeah,
MPEG-2, MPEG-4, right? On the
yeah,
video delivery technologies. Then, the iPhone started, and then streaming world has emerged, right?
yeah.
Initially, it was kind of a point-to-point delivery of video over IP network, and then unmanaged network over the public internet. Obviously, today it's on the
Amazing.
distribution side with all users. I mean, all the traditional entertainment is over streaming these days, right? AP, which is something unheard of, like even 15 years ago,
It's crazy.
right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So and we launched a tech company that took the video technology that we've developed for streaming and content monetization, and we adapted it to e-commerce, and we launched a video commerce technology company, and that
Amazing.
company provides like live shopping, shoppable video, social commerce capabilities to
Okay.
brands. Still running,
So
right?
we worked a lot with Echo, our interlude
Yes,
back in the
yes,
days, right?
yes, yes,
A lot
yes.
of those connections been there. So we did a lot of branching
Yeah, great
narrative
company.
stuff. And I
Yeah,
think, yeah, that's a lot of, I need to say a lot of thanks to that guy
yeah,
in Echoes. They've been amazing to us in general. And I think they really broke a glass ceiling that was really hard to break. And I truly understand that field very well. And again, we came from DV cameras,
yeah.
converting to Premiere to eventually to MP4 to streaming. I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, and today it's a full convergence, right? I mean, media companies are becoming, kind of retailers or e-commerce, merchandising everything. And the traditional retailers and e-commerce are becoming a media companies, right? They have studios in place, and I mean, video is just the fuel that drives everything, every marketing these days, and it just shows so interactive. And I mean, it's so fundamental for any business. So this is where we see it, and video
So,
for monetization or conversions are also something that yeah, we focus a lot, and that's kind of an interesting aspect of what you guys also do, right? So
so imagining just taking all that part into the physical world. That's
yes,
exactly what we wanted to
yes,
do.
yes,
You know.
yeah. So yeah, you took that these type of technologies and ideas into the physical world. And what are the main use cases that are valid, let's say, in 2026 going forward, right, in the age of AI and what everything that is happening in the industry right now?
Yeah, I think maybe if we can jump a bit back to like 2020 till right till the 26th. I would say there is a big change once AI came
Mm-hmm.
into the play, right? So connecting the digital world into the physical world was a lot about bringing brands to communicate with shopper at the point of decision, as we call it. So you just not just looking on the product package, you also can communicate with the product. You can see videos, you can ask questions, you can look on filters, and you can even get personal coupons. And just by looking with your phone, you get these cute dots on the products and you can
Mm-hmm.
click on them. And I can, of course, show some videos to show that through maybe later on. But that was really the beginning of the vision and what we did. From there, then ChatGPT came in and all those new crazy multimodal, I would say. And we realized that it's either we connect that into the system and analyze the word in a more, I would say, meaningful way, or the company need to rethink what they're doing today. And some of the opportunity came from Google. We had a really interesting partnership with some guys at Google that said, "Look, guys, your amazing technology is amazing. There are the tracks of the words taking images and then analyzing them on the cloud, but that's limited to that specific image and getting a stitched environment. I would say spatial understanding of an environment. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that no one really does." And with your tech, you probably can do it really easy. And we said, of course, let's, demo and then let's execute and then slowly let's have some clients and then we grow from there. So I would say 2026 is I would say 2025 is the largest shift for us as a company, moving from a more entertainment branded content
Mm-hmm.
shopper experience into a more management solution for retailers and brands and other partners that relate to that. I would say shelf execution
Mm-hmm.
platform. And if we think about AR in general, AI mainly trained on language, of course, some images from the internet, but it really did not been trained on the physical world and human interaction and all those things that are just not existing in the internet. So I think that's the biggest shift that we're going to see is the wearable devices. We hear that on like a pin, maybe like AR glasses or smart glasses, or
Mm-hmm.
even Apple leaks about like some AirPods with cameras on them. So that essential part is eventually the long-term vision of a replacing us with robots. And if we think about that, there is so much to fill up in those gaps. And I think that's where we really mainly focus on how do we create a meaningful value for whoever managing the shelf at this moment to understand his environment better, but also connect that to the physical and the digital world. The one time it called digital twin, the other time it called shelf intelligence. It's changing over time. I would say today I would mostly put it under spatial AI
Mm-hmm.
understanding. So AI is really need to understand is context to the word and to the next frames and to the next environment and to the next interactions. So that's where we're at.
So, how do you explain all these complex and innovative terms like spatial AI and augmented reality, right? And managing the shelf to a store manager? I mean, how do you pitch your solution, and what are the
Yeah,
major feedback that you get? Maybe objections, some of the great things that you hear about the solution.
that's a good question. I think at the beginning it was much harder. It was like, AR and like all those big words, right? Today it's just 80. Do you want to save 80% of your daily job in front of the shelf? We can
All
do that.
right.
And then like
Yeah.
how? Like, what do you care? I
What do
will
you
just give
care?
you,
Yeah.
I'll just give you an app and you'll test it and see how it goes. And it's very intuitive because once you use AR, it's it's very simple. You just look on the shelf and you get those cute things popping up on the products and you get like V and X and things that makes a lot of sense to it.
Hmm.
Anyone that use it. So even the barrier to get a new employee into that section is much shorter and much easier today than it was before, looking on a paper or an iPad or something like that to manage the SKU numbers, scanning those barcodes, understanding what's
Mm-hmm.
going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Today, just, look at the shelf, you just get the knowledge, and you know what? We're fine. You don't need to do anything. All this report going back to the management, they will do they will know what to do with it, or the fulfillment to know what to bring back from, what to bring in from the back store into that matter.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple process at this moment.
Nice. So Walmart and also others, right? They tried like shelf scanning robots, fixed cameras. How your solution is different than this type of solution?
Amazing, amazing. I think what differentiate us from all of it, we're just using a simple mobile phone. Either it's iPhone or Android. It doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. So just an app. Eventually, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a physical, I would say, asset or devices like robots, like shelf cameras, and you don't pay maintenance that it's so complicated to get the ROI on back to the company eventually. And we saw that
Mm-hmm.
from many companies that had a really interesting hype going up, but then eventually the ROI did not work, and then you get into a place where you need to kill that project. So I think that's the first thing that we're differentiating us around it. But the second is working with the human. Robots cannot change anything on the shelf. Cameras cannot really interact with the shelf in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Humans, empowering humans, get you to a loop where you're not just validating, you also executing. We call it like a three-step process where you detect, you verify, and then you fix. So all of that ecosystem inside the simple app.
Yeah. So actually, you developed AI that empowers people, right?
Yes,
And
definitely.
this is
And
in
want to
line
learn
with.
from those people. Yeah.
And how do you find it? Is it aligned with executives on the retailer side? I mean, we see what Amazon is doing, right, with staffing, and what's how is it? What do you hear from executive on the front line of retailers in terms of how they want to manage the shelf?
Actually, recently we signed a very large deal with a company named RGIS. RGIS are mainly they'll have thousands of people around every store
Mm-hmm.
doing a full audit on the shelf. So they're closing the door, going in, and starting counting every product on the shelf. There's nothing else that can do that or replace that today or in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
empowering them to make their job smarter, faster, easier, I think that's the first goal of where we at. And from there will be more and more solutions coming in to help, either the pickers or other people that go into the store to make that simplified and easier. We're not here to replace anyone. We are only here to make them work much more efficiently, get a better picture on the store. And if you think about it, someone goes and says, I did this, I did that. There's no way to validate it unless the manager goes in looking at it and trying to figure out. So I would say mostly the manager is the ones that doesn't, there is no essential need eventually to have a manager looking on every employee, because every employee will be empowered by this app that
Mm-hmm.
eventually reflect the information directly to the management side in the offices and have a clear picture of what's going on in their stores.
Yes, yes, interesting. So you mentioned RGIS, that's a third entity in this ecosystem of retailers, brands, and now, for example, RGIS. So
Mm-hmm.
how did you first probably structure that deal? Because and how any of these like stakeholders are considering the data aspects of things. Who owns this data? I mean, when RGIS are taking the footage and make some analysis, it goes to where? It goes to the brands, goes to the retailers. Who own this data in terms of this kind of a process?
So there are different aspects of this data. There is the images, or I would say the shelf data that is available to everyone, right? So it's a public domain. Everybody can look on the shelf and take an image.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is more the WeR part of IP stuff. From the execution side, what is wrong, what is right, those are going directly to the retailers themselves or the third party that use the app.
Hmm.
That's where we're not getting into. But really, it's very simple. I would say process. It's the hardest part is building the data sets. So recognizing 20,000 products in a retail chain, that's not a simple way. It's not a simple task. You need to capture a lot of images. You need to manage them correctly. Today with AI, it's much simpler, I have to say.
Sure.
We're augmenting stuff. We're using agent to do cleanups and stuff like that. We're training our own models on device. So there is not even connectivity to the cloud in any way or form. So everything sits on the user device. Those models, those datas are WeR IP, but other than that, all the outputs that usually go through an APIs to the third party or the retailers or the brands, those are theirs. So we're
Hmm.
um, trying not to interpret it, not to get involved into those specific use cases, other than um, just being smarter in our systems.
Yes, yes, makes sense. Makes sense. And you use this data obviously um, in a, let's say, in a general or granular way. You're not interested too much about the specific person who is taking the footage or collecting the
Nothing.
spatial data, and you train your models to be. What are the efforts or the improvements that you try to implement in your tech? Using this data.
Because we're using people, because we're using actual person in the store, once we're
Hmm.
not sure about something, then we always have the option to scan a barcode. I think that's where we really
Hmm.
benefit from that relationship, because instead
Yes.
of us growing our data sets all the time, that will be grown, instantly through those
Yeah.
executions. So I think
Hmm.
that's the
Hmm.
most scalable part of the system, I would say.
Yes, yes. So it will the smartphone or the app will show you in real time if the scans are like successful or not, and then you have some other ways, right, to aggregate the data,
Validate. Yeah,
validate. Yes,
exactly.
yes. So all you need is
Yes.
this smartphone, right? I mean, you were very bullish on smart glasses for a lot of times, and but there is no real. Do you see
Yes.
any use case for this on a professional retail management and
Oh,
shelf management?
we're working closely with Qualcomm, with Snapchat, with Google. We're in the forefront of every device out there. It just came out from AWE. Actually, it's
Hmm.
another Israeli entrepreneur, or in Bar, that has the
Hmm.
largest community in the world for augmented reality. I've been judging there. I've been mentoring there. I love this environment. It's happening every year at
Nice.
Los Angeles. I think and it's been there for I think 7 or 8 years in a row. And it started where everything started, and it's today the platform that Snapchat revealed their new glasses, for example. So
Hmm.
we've been really, really focused, and I think Qualcomm is the biggest enabler in that side, and as the brain for OEMs to build whatever glasses they want. I'm still in this field and will never use, that's the future of what we're doing eventually.
Yeah.
The reason we're not using just images, and we did all the effort to actually make it AR, true AR, is because we believe on the glasses. We believe that smart and AR, I would say from one side, you have the smart glasses, the other way, you have the Apple Vision Pros of the world. Eventually you're going to see something in the middle, and that something in the middle will be smart glasses with a screen that immerse you but also understand the world around you in a much smarter and intuitive way.
Hmm.
Magic Leap was the big promise a couple of years ago. We know what happened with that.
Yeah.
I had a lot of expectation, I have to say, but once you see the device, it's like, come on, guys, it's not even close. But and many people told me that, and I was like, no, that's going to be fine. That's going to work. And it was way too early of where we are today. Today we see those smart glasses by Meta Ray-Ban, or now new coming in from different brands. Those are understanding the world, I would say, partially because they're based on images, they're not based on a video stream. And it's really hard from a video stream to understand using VLM, or I would say large language models of videos, to understand consistently and spatially the word. There is no VLM that really understands a video in a consistent way. Using augmented reality, using traditional algorithms, as we call it, we're mapping the world in the same way we've been doing VFX 20 years ago. So that's based on a very proven way to reconstruct environments. So connecting those two together makes a lot of sense for me, taking this forward. And once we're going to see and be introduced to the capable glasses eventually, that will be a turn of a switch for us to get into that field. And you can think about this, hands-free experience for employees. There's no need to hold anything anymore. You see the same experience we're presenting now with the phone, but with two hands free, and you can do stuff on the shelf, and it's much more efficient.
Yes. So you're still bullish around smart glasses, specifically on a B2B scenarios, right? I mean, there are so many good use cases, right?
Yes, I think everybody's focused on the enterprise side, although Snap are more towards the shop, the end user experience with the very expensive glasses now. They just revealed them. So I think there is, I would say, 3 to 4 to 5 years till we're actually going to see something useful that makes sense in the same way we're using the phones today. Even the glasses today, like Meta Ray-Bans and all of them, still have limited cameras, limited sensors. They're not even close to what we have on the phones. And we can see the phones today. They're like crazy, and LiDAR and 3 lenses, and everything is fusion together to get a very high-end image. That's why we win currently. And getting that to the next field, I would say next process, that's where glasses will be much more efficient, light, can hold for hours, and cheap, I think, more than anything else.
Yes. So from your experience in working with retailers, what's the level of adoption of new technologies and comfortable? I mean, the way they process new tech and evaluate and implement. What are your thoughts, or maybe your experience in the last few years?
I think that's a huge question, because every retailers have their own lab, right? And in the lab, they're trying everything. Graduating from that lab into real world execution, that's the hardest part. I think two companies that I can mention right now that is public domain, right? Superfarm in Israel, being one of the most innovative retailers in the world, because they're not just talking the talk, they're actually doing it and getting us into their field for 2 years, running on device on their clients, having a customer experience in front of the shelf, getting coupons, we promoted everyone. It was Unilever, Procter and Gamble, all of them being part of the platform because Superfund been introducing us to them, because Superfund supported it. And I think that's one thing that I have to say that no other retailer that I saw in the world did. Of course, Walmart was amazing because they took like a Netflix brand together with the Walmart to do, I would say, Pokemon Go experience for kids in their store, powered by our app. That was amazing too, I think. Wow. But that did not get into the next step because, again, it was too early to everyone. And then RGIS, where they took this very seriously because they knew that empowering their people, that going into the store with those tools is the next stage. And for, I think, 2 years, year and a half, they've been validating our platform before we execute it into those retailers that we are today. I think those are the hardest. This is like what you mentioned here is the hardest part, getting people in the company to trust and take a risk, because that's their job, that's their, that's what they're living from, and take a risk for another company
to some extent, right?
Yeah, it's all about the people, right? So if you find the right person that trusts you and seer vision and then slowly testing it in the field, but really testing it in the field and not just saying he did it like in his lab, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the store, executing 100 stores, let's see how it goes. From there, the numbers just talks. And then from there, it's much easier to grow.
Nice, nice. So, what are your goals now for WeR AR? I mean, what's next steps for you guys?
So as I mentioned before, once we shifted more to the management side, it's now all about sales and scale. So I'm maybe using this platform to say to every brand, every retailer, please contact us, because we have a tool that can help you in between, I would say, 50 to 80% of the daily jobs in front of the shelf. And that's where we want to be at this moment. And if
Mm-hmm.
we think about it, they know everything about the backstore. They know everything about the POS, but the in between, the shelf is where they're blind at. I think that's where what we solve. The big vision was using shoppers to do that, because once a shopper gathering coupons in a, I would say in a hair category or something like that, they already mapping the shelf. That's data could go back to the retailers. I think that was a long vision, and it was too much, I think, to
Yes.
adjust. But using the employees, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, makes sense. And I hear that you are very focused, right, on a specific use case, right, that can make a real difference, cut a lot of time and money, right? And so I guess already proven in the market, like you have achieved product
Yes,
market fit. So it's already, you are in an execution mode, right? So just
exactly,
growing.
exactly, exactly.
Nice.
And I think, yes, next step is the, of course, always testing and validating with glasses, always taking that as in our mind and always
Mm-hmm.
tested. We'll never stop R&Ding on that, because we truly believe in that side. Maybe it will be some wearables. I don't know. Maybe we'll create those wearables. We don't know. But I think
Wow.
at this moment, I think we're taking that with the phone. They're strong. They're capable. You can look 5 years back, and those phones still killing it. So
Yes.
it's great. Yeah.
Super interesting, Amit. Anything else you want to add? But before that, let's tell us more how people can reach out to you and find you.
Yeah, of course. I have a LinkedIn that is, well, I'm there every couple of hours, so please
Mhm.
reach out through that. And of course, email and phone. I would say email best is amit@wear.io. Very simple,
Nice.
WER.io.
Hmm.
And of course, LinkedIn is very easy to find me there.
Great, Amit. Anything else you want to add?
I think what you guys are doing, and I think what others are doing in the Israeli community and beyond, I think it's amazing. I think the startup nation of Israel is just, in the very, I would say, beginning of it, because there's so much to do now with AI. There's so much to do now with all the new technology coming in, and those platforms are bringing us out there, and I think it's very important and very appreciated, um, very much.
Amit, it was a pleasure hosting you here. Wish you all the best.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
yeah, I'd love to help. And if there's anything we can help, please don't hesitate to reach out. And also for any of the listeners, please reach out to Amit for this chatting with him about retail and obviously about the exciting technology, right? And I wish you all the best, Amit. Thank you so much.
Actually, one last thing,
Sure,
if you mind, I can share my screen and show
yes,
some of it,
yes, why not?
because we're
Of course,
talking about it, but let's see it, I think, more than anything. So again, with Superfarm, do you see my screen, right?
yes.
With Superfarm, I would say that's, when we're talking about shopper experience, when we're talking about getting them into um, seeing what's going on, you can see just by looking on the shelf, you started getting those cute dots. You can just click on them. And once you collect a coupon or just more information about the brand, those are really crucial. This is a retail media right there on the shelf that
Hmm.
costs by view, by click, the same way in the internet, but in the physical world. So I think that's very important to say. And again, I have to say thank you for Superfarm again, because they've been really innovative in that part. This is
Nice.
filtering. You can do, just filter some kind of aspect that you are looking at or interested in, and the brand knowledge, the brand information, exposing that to the shopper at the point of decision, and then connecting AI to all of it. I think that was a huge vision. That's an amazing PR. I would say execution eventually that we did. And now I'm going to go to the shelf execution more than anything else. What we're really pushing it right now. This is how people usually do stuff. They're looking on the shelf, clicking on an iPad, or even worse, they have just a paper
Hmm.
looking at it. And using WeR, just looking on the shelf, that will just empower the user in so many ways. You can see how fast it is. It's much more efficient into looking and understanding what's going on, and it's spatial, so you can go the entire aisle. You don't need to do one image. You don't need to concentrate on one thing. You can do the entire shelf, the entire category in one sweep of a phone.
Wow. Really, really nice. It was really important. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it
Amit.
so very much. And talk soon. And of course, any more question, happy to answer. And also connect. So I have many companies around myself, around my community, and would love to share them with you and see if it works as well.
Amazing. Sounds good. Amit, it was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Ethan.
Good luck. Bye
Thank you.
bye.